My presentation is on blitzing in the NFL and the role that it has in NFL defenses and how it's been evolving over the years. So NFL teams over the years have been stressing the importance of getting after the quarterback and investing in edge rushers for their team, ideally through free agency or the draft or trades. However, teams can also scheme their defenses in such a way that they're getting more pressures through blitzing. So sending the whole defensive line, adding in a linebacker, a nickel, or something like that to record sacks. But the question is blitzing really the best way for NFL defenses to A, record sacks, and B, limit the amount of points that they give up as a team? All the data I collected was from PFR. And although I do focus on the 2023 season, I did include data from 2019 onwards. So sacks are good, is blitzing? Well, as you can see in 2023, naturally, teams that got more sacks allowed less points. This is naturally a good thing. This is what we expect from NFL teams. That being said, teams that blitzed more in 2023 weren't necessarily recording more sacks. In fact, there is a negative correlation between blitz percentage and sacks, which is super, super strange. I mean, at the worst, you would expect a zero correlation between blitzing and sacks, where if you blitz more, it doesn't really impact the amount of sacks you're getting as a team. However, in reality, teams that blitzed more were actually getting less sacks, which is very, very alarming for NFL teams. Even more alarming, you'd think, if they're not even getting sacks, ideally you're getting at least pressures. And that didn't prove to be true either. Finally, teams that blitzed more were also giving up more explosive plays. This is a huge concern for teams that blitz, is giving up explosive plays in the passing game. And yes, teams that blitz more were giving up more yards per every attempt. So basically, overall in 2023, blitzing just was not effective. But the question remains, has blitzing ever been effective? And the answer is yes. There was a time when blitzing was relevant, useful, especially you see 2019, 2020. Those were years where teams that blitzed more were actually able to record sacks. But then as we go on to 2022, 2023, that correlation really does worsen. And to see this more clearly, I plotted the slope of the linear trend line between blitz percentage and sacks every single year from 2019 to 2023. And you can see at first that correlation is positive. So that's that point where blitzing is useful for teams. But as of 2022 onwards, it's gone sub-zero. So we've reached a point where blitzing in the NFL actually hurts teams rather than helps them. The good thing is teams are noticing, schemes are adjusting, teams are actually blitzing less. If you aggregate the blitz percentage of every NFL team from 2019 to 2023, you can see, although it's a marginal change, teams are blitzing about 4% less overall. And obviously some teams that's far more, or maybe even far less, but generally teams are noticing the shift in the game and are blitzing far, far less. But if blitzing has become obsolete, teams do have to invest in high quality pass rushers probably through the draft. If they see that we can't scheme a team out of pass rushing, they might have to acquire really talented pass rush players that they can use on the D-line so they don't have to leverage a linebacker, a nickel, a safety, whatever. And as you can see, over the last 4 drafts, investment in defensive linemen has actually increased. This is just in the top 100 picks. So you can see those are generally impact players. And over the last 4 years, that's slowly increased. That being said, this doesn't take into account the exact position of the draft pick. For example, in 2022, it was Aiden Hutchinson and Trayvon Walker, the 2 first picks in the draft, both edge rushers, right? So that shows an even higher priority for defensive linemen nowadays in the NFL. But really overall, it's just teams are finding that they really need high quality pass rushers on the defensive line so they can avoid blitzing unnecessarily and actually focus on getting after the quarterback with their front 4. The question remains, Is it NFL defenses that are just becoming less aggressive? Is that the new way that NFL defenses are trending? Or maybe it's offensives that are becoming more receptive, right? Maybe offensive lines are improving, offensive schemes are improving. And really the big question that I want to leave you all with is, what is next for the never-ending battle between attack and contain in NFL defenses? It seems like that relationship's changing year in, year out, but really, NFL defenses always have to struggle between quick attacking schemes with a lot of blitz-heavy schemes, or a more contained approach, dropping more men into coverage, putting linebackers into coverage, and really, I'm curious to see how that continues to change over the next couple of years in the league. That's it. Thank you.